season starts here, the Vancouver Boat Show.
Welcome to the Vancouver International Boat Show virtual seminar series, sponsored by Freedom Marine International Yacht Sales, the premier choice for exploring the passion of yachting. Thank you for joining us. The seminar will begin shortly. If you are having technical difficulties, you can reach me, the online moderator, via the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. Questions for our speaker can be added in the Q&A box, also at the bottom of your screen. And questions will be answered after the slide presentation today. It is our pleasure to present Living the Sailing Dream in lovely Langkawi with Gina de Vere. Over to you, Gina.
Thank you very much. Selamat datang, which is welcome, a very warm welcome to you all. Today, I want to share with you some of the reasons I and my husband love to sail in Langkawi, so much so that we've used Langkawi as a base for the past 7 years now. Now, I have a big black bar, excuse me, Maureen, sitting on the top of my picture. I hope you can't see it.
Nope, I can't see it. I
That's
think
fine.
It's fine.
I'm actually sitting by our nav station in our boat at anchor in Langkawi. So you might hear a few noises. It actually has been very windy until just now. So I'm Gina de Vere, your presenter. And I want to firstly say thank you, a huge thank you to you all at the Vancouver Boat Show for the organization. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Heather, and the team for enabling me to be here and to participate again. I'm also an author of Blue Water Women, and I'd like to give a special hi to some of the 40 women that I interviewed, women sailors, for my book, who I believe are from your area of the world, your part of the world. Mary Ann Unrau, Bernie Rice, Beth Cooper, Grit Chew, Amanda Swan Neal, and Gwen Hamlin. You just might know some of them. I interviewed sailing women from novice to the highly professional, and it's their experiences and advice that help create confidence in the cruising life. I'd like you also to meet my husband, Christian, my French Kiwi, who is sitting next to me as I speak to you, and without whom I would not have had the most amazing past 16 years. And now I'd like you to meet our boat. This is Star Dancer, our magic carpet ride that takes us everywhere. And on the left, you'll see her not quite in full sail, just a gentle little sail, is what Christian calls a lady's breeze, that one. And on the right, there we are looking for, I think it was dolphins off the bow. We first of all found mention of Star Dancer and saw Star Dancer in Papua New Guinea, never thinking that one day she would be ours. We've owned and sailed her for 7 years, but we started our cruising life in 2005 in a steel boat when we left New Zealand. And when we reached Malaysia, sizzling hot Malaysia, I was having menopause and all I wanted to do was sit in the fridge all day, that we decided to buy a boat with more airflow. So we happened to see that Star Dancer was for sale. So we flew back to New South Wales and sailed her back through Indonesia again to Malaysia. This is Team Star Dancer, my husband Christian, very experienced sailor. So I'm very lucky, aren't I, that I had someone so experienced, because he was a sailing instructor for the government in France. But I had a great skipper, but I had no experience, not practical experience. I mean, I'd done the coastal skipper thing and the radio, etc., and gone to sailing school. But it's not the same as having the practical experience. So it really was a huge leap of faith, and we had no idea how long we were going for. On the left, we're all dressed up and we're in France, but on the right, we're on our motorbiking gear, because when we get to a different country, we love to explore, and usually that's by motorbike. So where are we now? Where in the world? Well, some of you might already know Malaysia, but many people really are not quite sure. So we've sailed up through here, up through the Riau Straits in Indonesia, over the equator twice now. And we've sailed around here a couple of times as well. Past Singapore. Singapore is an island. It's joined by a causeway through here. So you can't actually sail between the two, between Peninsular Malaysia and Singapore. You'll notice that there are two green bits. This green lump here, Peninsular Malaysia, and then there's Eastern Malaysia over here, and separated by the South China Sea. So when we sail up through here, we sail past Johor Bahru, JB as they shorten it to, through the Malacca Straits, past Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital, past Ipoh, which is a bit inland, but it's a historically important city, and then up to Penang, which is this island here, and Georgetown's the capital of the island. We actually go there a lot. We love Penang. It's very vibrant and quite Chinese, and you can eat pork there too. Beautiful food, actually. Further north, there is Langkawi. Langkawi is an island off the mainland, couple of nautical miles or so. Now, it looks as if Thailand is actually joining on to Peninsular Malaysia. Well, it's not. But you can see Thailand quite clearly. It's only 5 nautical miles away to the nearest piece of land. Heading on further north, you'll see Bangkok, which is in the Gulf of Thailand. And then you've got Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. And we've actually motorbiked through all these places and done quite a few kilometers. Also, we've sailed through the South China Sea, up and around from Kuching to Miri, the Sultanate of Brunei, which is a fascinating little place, and up to Kota Kinabalu. But we didn't go around the top. This year, COVID willing, we want to go from Langkawi around here and up over the top, and then sail through the Indonesian islands to the Spice Islands. Now, the wonderful thing about being here in Langkawi is that in the wet season, you can travel down here, and you've got the whole of the east coast here and the beautiful diving up and around there too to do. Or you can go up this coast here, or you can go down through to Indonesia, and a whole other world awaits you there, and Sumatra, of course. So there is just a lot of sailing to do year round. You could spend a lifetime actually exploring this area. So now we've had a look at Malaysia, and I'm going to go from Malaysia in general down through to Langkawi in particular. General information, I'll let you read that yourselves. Just to explain Orang Asli, those are the original tribal people from different parts of Malaysia, such as the Dayaks and the Bugis. Something else I wanted to say to you. Yes, the history makes Malaysia a very interesting place. Of course, with all the trading up and down the Malacca Straits, especially since the history of the Portuguese found it in 1511, and the interest in spices and the Spice Islands, there was a lot of competition. And then the Dutch came, as you can see, in 1641, and they held it for quite a long time until the British came in 1824. And interestingly, the British have left quite a legacy in some of the most beautiful houses, and in the bureaucracy, the way that the legal system is done here is very British. And we drive on the left-hand side, and English is spoken in most places. Of course, there was a brief time when the Japanese came into Malaysia during World War II. So Malaysia's culture is fascinating because it is multi-ethnic and multi-religious, and it gives it a lot of different flavors. The Islamic government is actually quite religiously tolerant, one would say, although Islam is the majority religion, of course. The diverse peoples, I mean, people from, as you can see, Malaysia, China, India, Thai, Western, and whoever they are, whatever their derivations as Malaysians, they're very friendly, very open people who smile a lot. You walk along the pavement and people say, Selamat pagi, good morning, and they wave at you as they go past. It's just lovely. Family values are uppermost. The Malaysians are encouraged to have lots of children, of course, and the families can be quite large, like 5 or 6 families, 5 or 6 children. Fridays are prayer days. You won't get anything done on a Friday, and probably not on a Saturday, because that's their weekend too. And then, of course, we have weekends on Sundays. So maybe on a Monday, you might get something done, and time is rather elastic here. Just a note that when you're eating out, use the right hand only. The left one is unclean, and no pork, though the Chinese somehow managed to find pork, and you can find it if you really look. We were fascinated by the temples, and we're actually a bit templed out. But as you can see in the top middle one, the white mosque here, we're sitting within a wedding group. Christian and I were just peeking our noses into this magnificent mosque, which is on the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia. And we saw the wedding party having their photographs taken. They saw us and they waved us in, and they insisted that we sat down and had our photographs taken with them. They couldn't have been more courteous and lovely. That was a very nice experience. The temple that's on the right here, as you can see, is a Chinese temple. And this is the Chinese temple down here. And the reason I put this one in is because it has just been completed, and the Chinese community of Langkawi have built this. So when you come to Langkawi, do go and visit. It is magnificent. This mosque here is one of the larger mosques. It's in Kuala Lumpur, or KL as it's called here, and that is the Jamid Jamek. And the temple on the left is another Chinese temple, and they do abound. But now, on to more practical things with visas and licenses and things like that. If you arrive by air or if you arrive by sea, you pretty much get a free 3-month visa. Or this is the way it has been up until now. But of course, no foreigners can come into Malaysia at all at the moment. You have to be out of Malaysia a minimum of 7 days before you can return. And usually we use this as a very good excuse to go and explore another country. I'll do some motorbiking, visit some friends. The boat, and this is a very important point, can stay indefinitely with no import tax. That's a very important point, and a great benefit for having a boat here in Malaysia. Driver's licenses, well, an international driver's license is best. Um, we haven't been asked for our licenses very much, let's put it like that, but you do have to have one. Carry your passport ID with you. And the last time I looked, it was 3.4 ringgit to your Canadian dollar. So, I want to explain to you MM2H, another abbreviation that stands for a visa, which is a 10-year visa called Malaysia My Second Home. For a deposit of 47,000 Canadian and an income monthly of 3,000, you can stay for 10 years. Transport is excellent on the whole because it is really a progressive country. The airports, all the ones we've been to, just the local airports and the international ones, and Langkawi has an international airport, have been excellent. And the planes are pretty much on time. AirAsia is one of the better airlines, and it's also very reasonable. In fact, everything here is very reasonably priced. Coaches are quite luxurious. We've traveled a lot on the coaches from the north to the south of Peninsular Malaysia in great comfort and very little cost. Naturally, there are several ports with so much coastline, and most people travel by ferries. In fact, we travel by ferry with the local people, costs very little. We travel from Langkawi down to Penang quite often. And there are trains. I'm not so sure about the trains. We've been on one, I think. Cars are plentiful, of course, to rent and not very expensive. Motorbikes, they're everywhere. So if you can ride a motorbike, you're going to have a lot of fun. And the roads are good. The roads, that's another sort of English hangover, I think. The roads are really very well maintained. Petrol's cheap, diesel too. So just get your bike or your car and your boat and go and explore. Now, we'll have a look at the sites that you're likely to see in Malaysia that are really quite different from each other, which is why I've put them here. Top left is the Twin Towers of the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur. Now, Petronas you've probably heard of in conjunction with their support of the Formula One racing teams. And then you go to the other extreme in the center, and that's the tea pickers in the highlands of the Cameron Highlands. There's a very lovely place called the Bo Tea Plantation, which is a must to visit. Top right is one of the original Malaysian houses. And this one has been moved onto a resort called the Bon Ton in Langkawi. And there's about 10 of these lovely old homes, which are being made into accommodation for guests. Down bottom right is the house is called Indigo House, and you can see why, because of the blue. And it is a heritage house, recently completed, restored, owned by a very well-known and esteemed Chinese man from a few years ago called Cheong Fat Zi. So go and see Indigo House. They do a tour and there's a restaurant there. And that's a trishaw that you see parked just outside the door. Going towards the left, there are festivals everywhere of every denomination, and you are very welcome to join in the festivals. And then in Sarawak on the left, where the Nia Caves are, is quite an amazing adventure. We were sailing over in Sabah and we were in Miri, and I went to these caves in, that's right, Nia Caves. And they're huge caves, and they have remains in them, I think from 40,000 years ago, human remains. You'll see there's a few ropes hanging from the ceiling, and that's so that the people can shimmy up the ropes and grab the bird's nest, because bird's nest soup still, I believe, carries quite a premium. Now, healthcare truly is healthcare extraordinaire. We have nothing but praise for the local clinics and the local dentists, the local hospitals. Everybody is caring, and not just that, they are experienced and they have probably trained in Scotland or Canada or somewhere anyway. The international hospitals, well, we go down, we don't have health insurance. We go down to Penang once a year and we have a total checkup. We go in at about 8 o'clock in the morning and have all the checks done. And by lunchtime, we go and have a quick lunch in the cafeteria there. And after lunch, we see the doctor we were first of all introduced to. And we have our own assistant, young woman, with us to take us everywhere and show us everything. And he has all the results and tests, all done. So by 2 o'clock at the latest, we're out of there, and it costs only just a few $100s. Yes, the healthcare is very good. COVID care, we just arrived in Penang to get some anchor chain, and it was the day that was shut down. That was the 20th of March here. And it was very prompt action from the Malaysian government. And we were very proud of the way that the actions were carried out. The state of emergency is here until August. And what that really means is that the health clinics and hospitals, instead of being private, have actually been made public and are included in the COVID care. So we're lucky as foreigners, we have been included in the free vaccinations for all. Because I suppose we've all been here since March last year and not gone anywhere. The wildlife is something which is a real joy for us. We're fascinated by it. Top left, if we go from the left clockwise and around, top left, there is a Brahminy kite. There are lots of these, and often they're called sea eagles. And there's a white-bellied sea eagle as well. And we watch them wheeling in the sky over the steep cliffs and then diving down to catch a fish that they can see. They're fascinating. The next one in the middle, a picture of the monkey Selamat Datang. This is a normally shy breed of monkey called a dusky monkey or dusky leaf monkey. And this one, Christian took this photograph, has learned how to knock on the glass pane of the garage, the local gas station, and he's either given a banana or an ice cream. So that's amazing. The next picture is of the buffalo. There are buffalo in the rice paddies, and there's still lots of rice paddies. And buffalo milk is prized for the mozzarella that they make, and very good it is too. Top right is a very raucous bird. These hornbills are amazing, and we love them. They make such a clatter when they arrive in a tree. The whole tree shakes, and they make a lot of cackling, and they talk to each other very loudly. They're lovely. Bottom right, well, these orangutans, that was the highlight of my year a couple of years ago when we went up the river in the jungle in the middle of Borneo to see the orangutans. And that is an absolute must if you're in this area of Southeast Asia. The next monkey on the bottom is a fairly common monkey. That's a silver macaque. And the macaques can be pretty naughty. But the one that I like is the one that Christian took the photo of with the punk hairdo. He's got such a nice look in his eyes. Underneath that, it's a monitor lizard. Now, don't be afraid of monitor lizards. They're more afraid of you. They grow to about 5 feet or more, but they tend to scuttle away when they hear you. And the little ones, they seem to like to be near water. But as well as the ones that I've shown you here, of course, there are butterflies, like I've never seen butterflies before, all different colors and types. And the kingfisher birds they have here have brilliant colors, far more brilliant than the ones they have in New Zealand or in England. Golden orioles. And the other day, I thought I saw a rock move. I was out on the kayak, and what it wasn't a rock. It was a wild boar with big tusks. So that was a big surprise. Now we'll move on to Langkawi in particular. So here's a map of Langkawi, and we're going to look at the capital. It's a town. It's a large town, and it's very spread out and it's very sprawly, but you can find everything that you want for a boat, all the repairs and everything that you'll need. If you go into all the back streets and poke around, you'll see people fixing engines sitting on the pavement. And wonderful. I never used to like hardware stores, but now I'm absolutely fascinated by them. I've never seen such an array of things. The ferry terminal is there, and the first of the 3 marinas I'm going to tell you about is there. That's the Langkawi Yacht Club. Now, if you go, as you can see, the southern islands there have got lots of little tiny islands around them also. And this makes for excellent anchorages around and about here. And it's lovely sailing as well. So we go through Bass Harbour, as the proper name for this is, down through here, around through the gap between Pulau meaning island, Singa Besar, which is a very good, it's a nice little anchorage in there, not too far to go shopping either. And I'm going to take you past the tourist strip, which is around here. It's a lovely beach, actually, Pantai Chenang, lots of little cafes and lots of bars and yeah, the usual tourist things. To the second of the marinas. This island here is called Ribak Island. It's not far from the airport, as you can see, and it's just a couple of kilometers away from mainland there. This big harbor here is where I am right now. And just about here is where the Talaga Marina is. Well, we're actually outside the marina. But if you go around there to the north, to Datai Beach, there's nice anchorage just tucked in here. You can see Thailand up here. And the beach is beautiful. It's lovely sailing along there in the right wind, of course, and anchor along here and through Black Sand Beach to my favorite beach, which is Tanjung Ru. This is full of the karsts, which are those limestone sheer cliffs, and mangroves and islands, and it's fascinating. Hidden places around here. So now that we've had a look at Langkawi, of course you can sail from here, there's the Andaman Sea, through to the Andaman Islands and have a little look at India as well. Langkawi information I'll leave you to read for yourselves. Where it says coldest July, it's not really very cold at all, but I think these are the figures that I got for last year, 2020. But it seems colder because it's damp, because that's the wet season. And quite often it's cloudy. But, you know, the rain will come down very heavily, and then all of a sudden it'll stop and the sun will come out. So there's a lot of sunshine, as you can see, even around June, July. The southwest monsoon, as you can see, is around May to October, and that's the rainy season. And that's when you head south, and that's when you go either, as I said, around to the other side of the Peninsula Malaysia, or across the South China Sea, or down south into Indonesia, and so on. The northeast monsoon Well, you've got the whole of the coast of Peninsular Malaysia, this west coast, but we normally go up to Thailand, and we love Thailand. Now, someone says that there are 99 islands in the Langkawi group. We've never counted them. And there are some designated UNESCO parks here, which are very beautiful. Now, going back to Kua town itself and Bass Harbour, this is the landmark that you will see. This wonderful big eagle. And on the other side of the eagle is the Royal Langkawi Yacht Club, but also on the other side of this eagle is immigration and the Jabatan Laut, which is the harbour master, and customs, etc., etc. And you see there's some ferries sitting out there just waiting to go. Actually, the ferries have been very quiet lately, not very much traffic at all. The anchorage in Bass Harbour is huge. It's quite shallow, close in, but we anchor there a lot. This looks like a mosque, but actually it isn't. It's the Bella Vista Hotel. And this could well be us anchored here, but we anchor somewhere around there. Below here, gives you another view and shows you where the ferry terminal is back here. And this is the latest monument, and we've been watching it being built for the last 6 years. And I guess by the time you get here, it might actually have been built. Now we'll go further into the Yacht Club Marina. As you can see, it's a fairly modern marina, fairly recently built. And the advantages are that you just step off the boat and walk along the road to the supermarkets, the repair shops, etc., etc. They do have a chandlery on site. They've got cafes, bars, and there's a little hotel and a swimming pool as well. So if you have guests come and stay, they can actually stay in the hotel. They've recently enlarged to 200 wet berths, and there are 6 mega yacht berths as well. Now, this yacht club is very close to immigration and the harbour master. It's just over here a bit further over there. But I wanted to show you this because immigration's about here. If you carried on through this park, it's quite an amazing park, very intricate with little bridges and waterways and so on. And you carried on, there's a very good supermarket. So you really don't have more than about 10, 15 minutes of walk anywhere. Now we're carrying on round and a little bit further north to Rebak Island. Now, Rebak Island itself is privately owned but leased to Vivanta. Vivanta is part of Taj Hotel Group. It's set in 390 acres. As you can see, the hotel is around here, and tucked in here, there's a wonderful swimming pool, and the beach carries on around. There are lovely walks all the way around and over the top, all the way around here and over there. You can walk up and around there as well. As you can see, it's a tucked in kind of an entrance here. You wouldn't even see it normally from the sea. This little ferry coming out is one of several that take you backwards and forwards to the mainland. Mainland Langkawi, I should say. It takes about 9 minutes. Not very long at all. Actually, it's something I really enjoy doing. In the marina, there is a very good hard stand and haul out facility. It's the only marina that does have the haul out facility. You can haul out at some of the shipyards, and if your boat's too big, you have to go to the shipyards. But this aerial shot gives you an idea of the rest of Langkawi. This is Langkawi here because the ferry goes around here, around there, down through here, and drops you off over here. And you can walk along beautiful beaches there, or you can just, go into the main town and explore. Going further into the marina, I'll show you now. Now inside there is a chandlery at the very bottom, and an excellent boat services and yacht sales area as well. One thing about being in duty-free Langkawi is that as a yacht in transit, you can order boat parts into Langkawi duty-free, of course. Either you can order them yourself or you can order them through the chandlery. And if you need any help, this dynamic couple, Mark and Rachel Robertson, they know everybody. They've been there for years. Mark is a master shipwright, and so he's got contractors that work for him and with him, and you can do your own work too, which is a definite plus on the hard stand. And for Rachel, she has a reputation of being a very proactive and professional yacht broker. And what happens quite often is that people reach Langkawi and sort of relax there, and that's the end of the road for them. And they don't want to go back either against the wind, or they don't want to carry on around on the next leg. And there are a lot of good boats for sale there at very reasonable prices. So perhaps you could buy yourself a boat to have a few months of the year there, or buy yourself a boat there to carry on around. You could actually spend forever, I think, just being based in Langkawi. Um, Now, my favorite places, apart from, I must show you this first. That's Star Dancer, our boat, being hauled out, and there's Christian there. What I like about the haul out is the fact that it's not dusty. These bricks really help. You don't want the dust blowing up, which has happened to us in a few other haul out places here, and spoiling your paintwork. My favorite places on Rebecca Island. Well, this is a dock. This is our dock. There's Star Dancer there. And this is a yachty group, just an informal jam session one evening sitting on the dock. But normally on a Friday night, the yachties all get together, led by Fred here in the Lipak bar, which is on the beach. And we have a few drinks and a lot of songs and a lot of fun. And that's my pina colada waiting for me there. I love to walk along this beach, and especially going through here behind the trees into my favorite place of all, and that's the swimming pool. We are very fortunate as sailors here because we get to have a considerable discount. I think it's 30% on food in the hotel. We get discounts on the drinks as well. So that might make it a favorite for you. Talking of which, being a duty-free place, all the drinks are very cheap. We can actually get a bottle of Bombay Blue Sapphire, large bottle of gin for 50 ringgits. I'll leave it to you to work that one out. Now I'll show you some more favorites. They're of Ribak and they're of Langkawi. This is a video put together by Taj Hotels, and they've let us use it. There's my pool. That's Dragon Cave and the macaques. the floating village, remember that? Here we are back on Rebecca Island, Hornbill. There's a wonderful craft center on the other side of the island. It's huge. Mm. Now we're going to head north to where we are right now. And this is where we're anchored right now, Talaga Harbour Park. This is the Machinchang Range, and it's about 800 meters high. Oh, how many feet is that? I'm not sure in feet. But if you look carefully, you can see there's a cable car which goes from here way over to here. And I'm going to take you up there soon, and you're going to be looking down on the anchorage here. This anchorage is made into a very safe place because there are two man-made sand islands here. Now, this is Cock Beach, where we see horses riding sometimes, and there are a lot of little fishing boats along here. And if we go on further to the right, there's the entrance to the marina. That's not a real lighthouse. It looks very pretty, but it was built for a film set, or so the myth goes, and it was so nice that they decided to keep it. And there is a light put in there at night. Now, the entrance to the marina is just around the corner, tucked in here, and it's well signed. Inside the marina, that's another view of the Machinchang Range. I want you to have a look over to the far side of the marina. You can see a whole bunch of roofs, and that's the shops, little cafes, bistros, and there's a chandlery over there. However, at the moment, it's all very quiet. So as you're entering the marina, on your starboard, you'll find there is a fuel dock, and this is Star Dancer, and that's my kayak. We are actually taking on fuel here, diesel, petrol, and water. This is the ferry that goes to Satun in Thailand when the ferries are running, which is pretty handy. Now, this lovely building here is immigration in season, mostly for the ferry. It has a wonderful clock that gives us a little tune to warn us that they're going to sound the time. And the time comes in big bongs of a bell. So this marina has 65 wet berths and quite a lot of linear tie-ups and 8 mega yacht spaces. Now, as we were walking, Christian and I, this is what we saw the other day. Mm-mm. There is just so much to see and do in this particular area. And so now here we are, right at the top, looking down on the cable car. And I believe this is a mile long, this walk here. And the height of the cable car itself, nearly 2,500 feet. And it takes 15 minutes to ride to the top. As you can see in this picture on the right, the two man-made islands there and the yachts that are anchored in there. And so we're just about there right now. The views from the top of here are just magnificent. It is a must, and I can see why it's so popular. And there are days when the clouds cover the tops, but usually it's pretty clear. And so at the base of the cable car, there's a little village. It's called an Oriental Village. And it's a usual touristy kind of a place, but it's quite quaint and quite sweet. And by the village is the entrance here to the Seven Wells waterfalls, which is a steep climb. The first 200 steps to the lower pool, not so bad. But then you've got another 638 steep steps to the top. It is lovely up there and the views are superb. And you can take your picnic and spend all day there. There's just so much to see in the whole area. The butterfly gardens have just recently opened, and the gardens are magnificent. They're very well looked after. Now we're going to go back to beaches, and we're going to move on up north and then around to my favorite beach, Tanjung Ru. It's favorite because one, it looks out to Thailand. Two, it's got a beautiful sandy beach. And in around these islands, you can find caves and sinkholes and all sorts of interesting, narrow little places to explore and little fingernails of beach to set anchor at. Here you see, this is what these boats are doing here. Tourists, quite a lot of tourists love to take the sail, I can't remember what they're called now, all through the mangroves, special boat name, all through the mangroves. And there is feeding time in some of the mangroves for the Brahminy kites as well, and that's definitely worthwhile. We like to go and have breakfast on this beach. In fact, we enjoy having local foods whenever we can. So we sit at this little table, or is it that? No, that one there, underneath the palm tree, and we can have an omelette and a coffee for under $3 each. In fact, a lot of our meals are around with a drink and a plate of food around $3 to $4. This beach we share with the Four Seasons Hotel, which is along here, but all this is walkable here. It's beautiful, lovely walks all the way down and around here. We do like our treats. It's not all just local food. And when it's anniversary time or a friend's birthday, we now know how to treat ourselves. On the left, this is a friend's birthday at the Bon Ton, and that's their idea of a tiramisu. It was delicious, I must say. Another favorite place is the hole in the wall. Now, you might miss the hole in the wall altogether. It is not that easy to see. It's part of the Kalim National Geographic Park, a UNESCO park, and these limestone casts were formed 270 million years ago. And the erosion, of course, of the limestone has created lots of lovely shapes, but also sinkholes and caves to explore. Now, I want to show you, as you come through the entrance, and it is just wide enough for a catamaran, you come through and it opens out here, and you can see there's a couple of yachts along here. You can sail along here, past the mangroves, and when you get to here, you can hardly see it, there's an entrance, and that takes you through to the floating village, which we saw earlier. And there are boat moorings down there that you can have as well. We usually spend 2-3 days here, take the dinghy out or the kayak and explore all the little tributaries in between the trees. It's just fascinating. So that, I think, to you would be a must as well. Now, most days, I have to admit, are pure bliss. And I hope that I have persuaded you and inspired you to think about Langkawi and Malaysia as a destination. Many people think, oh, well, Thailand, but really Malaysia has an awful lot to offer to the sailor and the visitor, and beautiful sunsets as well. Now, for the sailor, the advantages of having your sailboat in Malaysia or passing through, of course, English is generally spoken, and the reasonable living costs. It costs us probably about a third of what we would normally, what we would normally pay in New Zealand to live a very nice lifestyle. Malaysia has a good climate and it's very attractive. Year-round access, absolutely year-round access to sailing conditions, because as I said, you know, in northeast monsoon, you can sail down the coast here or up into Thailand. So much to see there. Or in the wet season, you can go down around the other side. You can sail all year round for a lifetime because the South China Sea gives you access to Borneo and around Sulawesi, into the Banda Sea, all the way through Indonesia. You've got Japan. It's just amazing. Boats can stay here indefinitely and the top medical expertise, and it's generally very safe. Now, using Langkawi as a duty-free sailing base, because your yacht is considered in transit and with a Malaysian address, I mean, they'll give you an address at the marina. Boat items can be ordered from anywhere, and it doesn't take long to get them. We found West Marine delivered in about a week. The boat sales and buying market here is very active and attractive. As I said before, you may enjoy having a boat just to explore around here. There's so much to explore, or you can carry on around. There are good facilities for boat maintenance and repairs, both wet berths and hard stands available. So I think there are just so many pluses. And as always, it's the people that make the place in the end. So before you go on the cruise of your lifetime here, have a look at my book, Blue Water Women. I feel truly privileged that women have entrusted me with their forthright opinions and with their advice and their experiences for me to share with potential cruisers. I hope I've inspired you all to sail our way when the borders open. And I will say thank you for your time. And I look forward to any questions you may have.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gina, for the presentation and the beautiful pictures and all the details. We do have a few questions. However, we are right up against time. So I'll take a couple and then we can close out. But just to let everybody know, we started a little bit late, so we're going to take some questions for Gina.
Right, I'll take my glasses off now.
Okay. A question from Robert. Can you better explain MM2H? Do we have to pay a 47,000 deposit? And what do they mean by 3,000 income? Is there some resource they can access to find out more details on this?
Oh, definitely. Yes. Go in. There's a government website. You just have to look online, Malaysia, My Second Home, and there's scads of information, and it's being updated all the time. So I couldn't tell you the absolute details, but generally, if you're over 55, I think, and you put a certain amount of money in the bank as a deposit, so to speak, which you can take out, by the way, if you decide after a year you don't want to do that anymore, you can take your money out and go. But they do like you to have a monthly income that you can verify, a pension or something like that to keep you afloat. I think it
Wonderful.
worked. Yes, but
Here's
there
another
are
good.
lots of details.
Okay. Okay. One more question, which is a good one. Any questions on money, currency? You can access that by Googling for that information.
Yes.
And also, please add any questions you have in the evaluation afterwards or in the chat for the show for Gina.
Yep. Yep.
So our last question is, how accurate are the charts in the area?
Our charts, actually, they're pretty accurate. I'll just yoo-hoo to my husband. Christian, do you think the charts in this area are accurate, or at what percentage accurate? Yes, it's a huge area. We're talking about the South China Sea.
Yeah.
But we haven't, we've never really had a problem, have we, with anything like that? No.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No. Yeah. Yes, common sense, but it's difficult to answer that question. There are no huge variations. Let's put it like that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Gina. And thank you for joining us today. We're interested in your feedback, either on this seminar, or if you have ideas on topics that you would like to see us cover in the future. Simply click on the Evaluate tab located just above the seminar description and complete the form. After the show, all attendees will also receive a post-show survey. Be sure to check out all the features at the Vancouver International Boat Show virtual. If you have a question, check out our info booth. Have a great day at the boat show, and thanks all.